Alright, so this is day 3 of the small account challenge. As you can see, we're green today, 44.98, and then after commissions, it's going to be 38.75, or 38.850. Um, I knew this day would come where we'd get our green day that made up for all the red days of this past week. So I wasn't worried about those red days because I knew my normal green days would look something like this, anything between 30 and 60 bucks. So I wasn't really worried about being down $22 in the first 2 days. So today we have one trade again on WHLR. What I want to go over though is why we didn't decided to not take the trade. So I had a potential trade on BYSI on this move right here, where we squeezed from, here we go, um, right here. So I was watching BYSI pre-market because it was gapping up 200%, which is not normal for our current market. So I was looking at it, maybe this was going to be the start of a hot market. We were gapping up 200% as of the time that I got onto my computer. And I saw that this high was at, let's see, the high was at 35.90 when I got on. And we saw this small pullback candle at 36.03, and I was thinking about taking the trade above that 36.03 line to make a new high of day. However, I deemed it too risky for the small account. I could only get in with about 30 shares, which I would need a pretty significant move in order to make profit on that. However, this play would have made a substantial amount of money. It was a 10-point move in a matter of a minute and a half, which would have given us, well, I guess, if we put in 30 shares, we would have gotten around maybe like 200 bucks out of that. Um, but I deemed it too risky for the small account because if I got in at 36, um, there was an easy chance of us to come back below this, the low of that red candle, which is around 34. And if we went back below that candle, making this candle red, there was almost certainty that we'd come back down to 32 and 30. So having a 2 to 4 point loss on 30 shares is not what I wanted to do, especially going into this with already 2 red days in a row. So I said I'm not going to trade BYSI. It's too risky. It's jumping up points and it's jumping down points per share, which I'm not willing to take right now. So the next leading gapper, the second leading gapper was only a gap of 20%, which was WHLR. And here, the float fit my criteria. It was like let me see. I think it was like it was low float. It was probably like 5 million shares, probably less than that of a float. And so our pre-market high on WHLR, I'm just gonna call it Wheeler. Oh yeah, that's what it's called. Okay. The pre-market high on Wheeler was 40 or 420, with pivot points at 415, 410, 402, 396, right there, and then the VWAP was at 390. So I took my initial position. As you can see here, we have very low volume throughout this stretch right here, from 8 o'clock till 8:20, around there. And so when I see, here, let me zoom in. When I see that we're starting to gain volume and it's all green volume, moving into that VWAP, especially with that pivot point at 89 right here, I'm taking my long there for the break of VWAP up to our first resistance at 395. I was okay taking this for a 5 cent move. I obviously wanted it to go up to through 395 and then up to 405, 410. Um, However, I was okay just taking off 5 cents if I had to. Thankfully, I didn't, but if I had to, I was okay with 5 cents on 430 shares. That would still be around 20 bucks. Yeah, 20 bucks. I was fine, or I was fine with that. It would make back the last couple days. So I was fine taking that trade because nothing else looked good. I mean, Wheeler was our second gapper and it was only up 20%. Our rest of our gappers was only 15, 10%, 5%. I was not trading any of those. So this was the only opportunity that I saw at this time besides BYSI, which was chopping around everywhere. So I take the initial entry at 390. I let it ride out. We have some really big green volumes here compared to everything else. I took off my first profit at 398 because it was hesitating at 4 a little bit. Um, then we have the break of 4, pullback to 402, our previous resistance. We open at our support now. So previous resistance becomes new support. We have that 402 support now. And as we're breaking 406, I take half off, or I take a quarter out there at 406 because I had 215 shares left. Took a quarter out. And this wick to 413, that never really happened. It was one or two orders that went out at 413, but the rest of them, I think the high of this candle was actually around like 410, maybe. But so I took half or quarter out at 406. I took another half out at 404 as it came back down after seeing this big wick. And then we held through this for maybe a potential break over 409 and then going and hitting our pre-market high of 420. We end up getting a little bit, it's not exactly a false breakout, but it definitely broke by 2 cents and kind of just came back down. So we got out at 4 as this candle was coming back down. Unfortunately, the it came back up as well, so we did kind of get a little juked out there at the end with our last 83 shares, but I'm okay locking up that profit, making sure that we actually have profit on the week. Right now we're up $16 on the week if you include all the days combined after fees and commissions. Before fees and commissions, we're up around 30 something, a little low 30s. So we're averaging about $5 of commissions and fees every single day we trade, which I'm fine with as long as we're making these like $30 to $50 winners because those $5 aren't going to mean as much. Uh, they're going to be like more like around like 10% to 15% of our profits, which I'm fine with for right now. Um, One thing I could say I could have done better was with those last 83 shares. If I had held until the low of this candle at 98, we would have been able to, because this was still trading somewhat within range. I was just worried about locking up profits, but as you can see, it was trading within range. We hit that first minute candle to make a new high, and we soared to 28. So we could have locked up a lot more today, but I'm satisfied and happy with what I got. So that's the end of day 3, up $38.50, 45 before commissions, 38.5 after. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.